Okay, so Janina has really kindly agreed to share her soul contract chart with us. So we are just going to dive straight on in. And Janina's had a soul contract reading with me before, but we only looked at her birth certificate name. We didn't look at her commonly used name. And the difference is the name written on your birth certificate carries the main energy in your life. But if you're called by your commonly used name, so my name would be Antonia Beamish without any middle names, it still carries a huge amount of energy because the soul contract reading work is based on the sound. So the frequency of the sound. So the commonly used name is also really important to look at. We look at that in overlays.
Mm-hmm.
So Nina, we're just going to look here. You won't have seen this before. And I'm just going to give just a reminder of what everything means. So we take the letters of your name and we translate them into ancient Hebrew. And each of these numbers carries a frequency. And we map these frequencies onto your Star of David chart. And we add them up until we get all the numbers here. And then what you're looking at are two triangles, the physical pointing to the earth plane. These are energies that come in slightly earlier in life. And the spiritual pointing upwards to the heavens. And these come through a little bit later in life, but everyone's really different. And what happens is, this is the chart of your life, and this is time across here. And the physical chart comes online very high, very strongly at the beginning of your life, and then gradually decreases. And then the spiritual is not online yet, and then it starts to increase. And then normally this is the crux point where there's this intersection. And just as a reminder of what all these mean, we've got the karma in both physical and spiritual. Janina, karma is your challenge, where you probably find life a little sticky and challenging, but it is where your potential lies. Because once you become aware of your challenges and you face them and you work through them, they become your experience, they become your wisdom, they become your depth. And so really, there's a huge amount to focus on in the karma. And it's not a bad thing, karma. We love karma, but it can feel a little difficult. And then we have the talents, and then talents are what you're really good at. And there's a lot in here about holding space for others, which is really beautiful. Being very supportive and nurturing to other people. So we'll dive into that. Talents can sometimes take a little bit of time to really come into full fruition. So we kind of want to keep working at them. We want to have awareness of them, and we want to actively work at them. And sometimes people don't resonate with their talents. They're like, oh, I'm not good at presenting. I'm not good at teaching. I'm not good at networking, or whatever they may be. But they're there. They just need some encouragement to come out.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got your goals, and your goals are what your soul really wants to achieve. It's like, I came here to do this. Please help me get there. And then we have your soul destiny, which I feel is just an amalgamation of all the different numbers coming together. So Janina's birth certificate name is like the cake of her life. And then her common name, Janina, here, it's like a layer of icing, and it infuses the frequencies in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like another name, basically. So we always want to look at it in readings. And what we're going to do, we're going to start with looking at the karma. So these two numbers, Janina, 3 and 7, are all about being shy. So I wonder, when you were younger, shy, yes.
Ah, wow.
When you were
Yes.
younger, were you a little shy?
Yes.
Mm,
I think
okay.
from the moment when my parents got divorced, which was quite early, about 3-4 years old, I think that has a lot to do with that. But my mom says that, yes.
Yeah. So 3s, they're such similar numbers. I have both of these in my chart. It's my mission to get myself out of hiding. And it's your mission as well, Janina, to make yourself seen, to come out of this canal. This is the 3 energy, to come out of the canal. And as you come out, you communicate your knowledge, you communicate yourself. It's a very it's a teaching number. It's teaching from the soul, teaching from your experiences.
So even though it's shyness, it has to do with teaching also.
Yes.
Because
So yeah.
okay.
So for each number, I'll just explain that. Each number is like a seesaw. You've got the negative expression of the number and the positive. So threes, for example, in the negative are quite shy, quite unwilling to communicate, finding it hard to communicate. On the positive, they're amazing communicators and singers and expressionists and teachers. So it's all about, yeah, moving in this direction. So how does that sound?
Yes, I'm a Gemini. I've heard is a lot that I'm a good communicator. I think the more to heart and the deeper the stuff gets, I tend to hold back more and more, because
Yes.
you suss the people who you talk to, and you're not sure if they're ready for the message. But actually,
Yeah.
there's a lot burning inside of me that actually would like to come out.
Beautiful. Yes. And you know what happens with the threes is that often they can be a little bit, and it may not be the case now, because I know you've done a lot of work. They can be a little bit emotionally numb, and it's all this sort of numbness, and they have to crack through and
Hmm.
break down into the depths of them, and it can be very
Hmm.
painful. It's a master number, so it carries a huge amount of power, this number. So,
Yeah, it's very true what you're
yeah.
saying.
And there's a lot in your depth that's ready to come out, I can tell, because I know you. The other thing, you mentioned the Gemini, you're a Gemini. Sevens are the Gemini number. And
Mm.
yes, sevens are all to do with heartbreak.
Oh shit, yes.
Yes, and what happens is with the seven, you mentioned your parents divorced age 3. At 7, with the 7, we often experience a wounding and an abandonment emotionally, often by a parent or something else. And we only feel safe to show who we truly are to a certain selection of people, and
Yes,
we
exactly.
have a mask. Yeah.
Or just another side. I
Yes. Yeah, we
yeah,
show another side to people that we
yes.
don't quite trust and don't quite feel safe with.
Mm-hmm.
And we
Sure.
can be a little controlling, a little bit like, oh, is it safe? Do I need to control the circumstance? Am I safe to? Yeah. So a little heart
Yes,
wound. Yeah.
yes. No, not little. Very big. I'm
Big,
not
big,
just
big.
one, but
Many.
yes, it
Well,
is.
you've got other numbers that really add to that in your birth charts. You've got these big 22 fours, which show a huge amount of energy, um, trusting the process of life. And you've got 8s, which is so sensitive. Um, and you've also got these 11 twos in your talents. Now, the 11-2 and the 22, these are all about learning to be emotionally resilient, to sort of
Mm.
lean on yourself
Mm.
rather than lean on anyone else. It's a very resilient number. So has there been things in your life where you're like, oh, I have to learn to really lean on myself and build my emotional resilience?
Yes, big theme all my life.
Mm.
Absolutely.
What's interesting is I love the number 2. I'll just talk about it 'cause it really makes me laugh when I describe it to people. The 2 is like a spring, and it bounces up and it bounces down. So
Uh,
moods with a 2 can go quite up and down.
yes, that's true.
Yes, it's a quite a bumpy number to have in a chart. Um, but the lovely thing about the 2s is that you bring in a lot of people and you buffer them from the shocks of life. It's a very nurturing
Yes,
energy.
I
Yeah.
think, yeah, I live that more and more now. Just in my older job, My boss used to say you're so crisis approved, like that.
Yeah.
And right now, um, we have a lot of stuff going on again, and I think people, yeah, I hope sometimes people get something out of. I am in the same boat as them, and seeing how
Mm,
I'm handling it and not getting a nervous breakdown, and
yeah.
trying to, yes, being resilient in the situation.
Yeah, lots of resiliency. It's also your soul destiny. So you're going to be feeling this one quite strongly, the 11 twos. The other
So
thing with,
can
yes,
I, so you say it is, again, on the first hand, it is something it's a big theme I have to learn, and but because there's this big focus on it on my life, first to build it, later I'm like a expert in it.
yes,
In this kind
absolutely.
of, yeah, okay.
Yes, the twos are all about coming into wisdom. And you've also
Yes.
got a 13-4 as your soul destiny in your birth chart. And that's all about coming into wisdom. And the 11 twos are about building your core values. And I know you've had a lot that's happened in your life. And sometimes the 11 twos, there can be family dysfunction and trauma that passes through. And the 11 twos are like the emotional processing unit of the families, call them the EPUs. And they sort of, everything sort of funnels in. So it can be a little traumatic, this number.
Hmm. Definitely.
Yes. And can make you very, sensitive and it's a very sensitive. But what I was also going to say was
Sorry.
people will feel your energy. They'll feel your protective instincts from the 11 twos. They'll feel your people energy from the sevens. Sevens and people, they
Yes.
love people, they're good with people. And sevens attract people even though they don't want them in their lives. They're like, why does everyone like me so much?
Yes.
Yes, why does everyone want to be my friend?
Yes, and also I'm sensitive to energies. It's
Yes.
it can quickly be too much. Also,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, you've got these big empathetic eights in your birth chart, and the eights are super empathetic. And this is where the boundaries issue comes in, because you're here to put up healthy boundaries so you don't feel everyone else's stuff, and you don't need to be the peacekeeper. Eights can often try and keep the peace at their own cost.
Yes.
She knows. Okay, let's look at these funky numbers up here. I very rarely see these numbers.
Really?
Yeah, I have a 14-5 in my chart as well. The 14-5 can be quite an intense number. We are here to mirror back things to people and for other people to be a mirror to us. So this can create a lot of intense experiences because we have all these relationships with people and we're constantly learning, who am I? Who am I?
Hmm. Hmm.
So I don't know if you have those interactions where you learn about yourself and you're helping someone learn about themselves, and it's a bit of a psychic dialogue.
I made this a theme for me actually, half of my life, because I once read something about looking at challenges in the way of always asking yourself, what does this have to do with me now? And then
Yes,
going inside and using it as using things as a trigger and healing that inside of yourself to
yeah,
handle the situation better. So I do that all the time.
yeah. It's a very 14-5 thing, and you're very empathetic, and fives can be very psychic. They're a very ethereal, soft, gentle energy. Just like the eights, they go quite strongly together. And again, I've got both of these numbers, but it's why we resonate together.
Hmm.
The fives are very they're very powerful, but it's almost like their power isn't in the physical strength, it's in
Hmm.
their sort of psychic um awareness.
Hmm.
But they can be very pioneering, very, very pioneering numbers, and their strength is in their speech. So very good speaking. And remember, you've got 3s, which is all about communicating. 7's all about networking with people. I didn't mention that. This is all about connecting people together, catalyzing them, buffering people from the shocks of life, but also creating your own core values, learning who you are and expressing yourself with your voice. And then the 1 is all about finding really grounded spiritual stability. Very, very strong energies. And actually, it's all about learning to become stable. Because when you are stable in yourself, in your soul, you can be a very nice platform to hold others.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why I don't go to Rome this holiday, because it's enough. I don't need more action from outside.
Yes. Yes, exactly. And the 1s are all about having a very stable, grounded spiritual practice to keep opening up their channels. And it's about using your power wisely, because there's a lot of power in this number. And in your birth chart, you've got all these big 22 4s. There's a lot of power in there as well. So it's really about using your power properly. And then when you can, it's like you have these high master energies of being able to see things. You can be very analytical, very
Yes.
philanthropic, a great giver. It's a very giving, expansive spiritual energy. It's very powerful. Yeah.
That's
So
when I was little, I think I always looked up to this kind of people you just described, because I could never be like that, because my life was full with so much trouble and trauma and problems.
yeah.
And I always wanted to become this kind of person. I guess I'm pretty close to it now.
Yes, you have. This is where your soul really wants you to go. And the trick is share yourself and come out of hiding and work with people. 7th don't want to sometimes, but they have to connect with people and network. And you're going to be 20, I didn't mention, was all about being a spiritual explorer. It's a real exploring energy. So keep exploring. Keep healing. The key to working through the 11-2 is to keep healing, keep going deeper within, and building your core values, your values of life. And it's a building energy. 11-2s are here to build something, whether it's a body of truth or something physical or something non-tangible. They're builders, they're architects. And then you're here to really learn who you are and then share those experiences with others. 14-5s are all about writing. It could be writing a book. It could be
I was just thinking that you just spoke my mind.
Yeah.
It just people talk about. I better do than talk about, but I have something in the pipeline.
Perfect. Well, this is your little hint to get going with that, because 14-5s are supposed to learn from all of these intense experiences and then self-reflect back and then just share that and use their voice to share it. Their speech, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Hi, thank you very much.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. I will stop sharing and stop recording. You were fantastic. Thank you.